Hi friends, I am really excited to share today's cards with you. These are cards that I have created for a Stampin' Up swap that I'm participating in, and I wanted to focus on the new 2024-2026 in colors, which are available starting May 1st from Stampin' Up. I'm also pulling in a new stamp set called Under the Moon, and I really enjoyed the fun, easy way I was able to create a sky and water and scenes just using a basic stamp image. And it was amazing how these in colors came together because I used all 5 in colors on these cards as well as a little bit of yellow, and that was it. Lots of fun, very easy to make once I figured out what I was doing, and then I just mass produced all my cards. So I'm really looking forward to sharing these with you. So without further ado, let's start stamping. These are our new 2024-2026 in colors from Stampin' Up. They will be available to purchase May 1st in our new annual catalog, and as demonstrators we have the option to pre-order. So I always get so excited when we have new in colors. It's always fun to work with some fresh, new trending colors. So we have Summer Splash, Peach Pie, Shy Shamrock, Pretty in Pink, and Petunia Pop. Now I wanted to feature these colors on swaps that I wanted to make for our Stampin' Up incentive trip, which is to Xcaret, Mexico. We are leaving this weekend. I'm so excited. So these are the swaps that I made, and I am pretty happy with how they turned out. So I wanted to share with all of you how I created the background, sky and water using just the 5 in colors I showed you, as well as a new stamp set called Under the Moon. This is a really great stamp set. And I pulled in an online exclusive stamp set, Encircled in Nature, to use as tree. As I was making these cards, I wished I had a stamp set with palm trees, but I don't. So I have a little tiny palm tree in the truck stamp set, but it didn't quite work as well as I wanted to. But this tree looked really cool, and I really had a lot of fun making these cards. And they're really easy, and they used a really fun technique. Okay, I have everything pre-cut, ready to go. I have a piece of basic white cardstock. I just cut this down to measure 5.5 by 4.25 because I'm going to be cutting it with our deckled rectangle dies. I am going to start by using this stamp from the Under the Moon stamp set. This is a cool stamp because you can use it to make so many different types of backgrounds. Let's see, let's use this block here. I have my piercing mat underneath my paper because I'm working with photopolymer. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually stamp with my Shy Shamrock. Okay, and I'm going to stamp with the narrow end of the image facing up. I'm just going to stamp right down in the middle, and then I'm going to stamp again, and actually let's flip this around just to sort of make it straight. Perfection is not the name of the game here. This is going to look really cool when it's done, and it's a very forgiving technique. I'm bringing in Summer Splash, and now I'm going to stamp with the narrow part on the bottom, and I did wipe that stamp a bit. Okay, I'm going to stamp again, keeping it going in the same direction, just to kind of fill in this white and to keep that straight edge. Okay, now I'm bringing in my stamp that has the sun, which is this one. And I'm going to ink this with Daffodil Delight, so I am pulling in a non-in color. Okay, so I've got that inked up really well. And now I'm going to bring in my Peach Pie and a Stampin' Dauber. And I'm going to add Peach Pie to this bottom portion. And I just got that idea from looking at this stamp in the catalog with the sample that they've shown. Okay. And I'm going to stamp that right in the center. Just like that. Now I've cleaned this stamp and I'm going to stamp it into the peach pie. And I'm just going to stamp kind of in the corner here. It's okay if you overlap onto the that sun that we just stamped. I'm going to stamp again without re-inking right on top. Actually, I need a bit more. I'm going to do that again. And I'm going to turn it around, stamp it again. I'm getting this straight edge because of where the stamp stamped off the paper. I always forget about that. Now the pretty in pink, and I'm cleaning my stamp off in between each. I'm going to stamp right on top. I'm going to stamp over here. Turn my stamp around. I'm going to stamp some right there. This was one of those cards that I just kept playing around with. Would leave it, come back the next day, play around with it again, wasn't sure what to do next, come back the next day, and in the end I was quite pleased with how it turned out. Now I'm going to do the same thing with Petunia Pop. I'm not going to bother cleaning my stamp right now because I'm going on to a darker color, and I'm just going to stamp along the top and then stamp a bit in here. Whoops, stamp off. Stamp on, stamp off, stamp on, just to pull some of that color down. Maybe we'll do a little bit here. I'm going to turn it around. Okay, that's what we have so far. Easy, easy, easy. I'm going to bring in, this is a piece of computer paper, and I'm just going to, a post-it note would work really good, a big long post-it note, which I don't have, but I'm just going to place that right here, and I'm using the grid lines on my grid paper, which, by the way, yeah, that's what I want, right there, just like so. I'm going to bring in pecan pie and put some of that on first. I'm just going to tap that into my pecan pie, and I'm just going to just kind of pounce it on top here and there, going right over that sun. Doesn't have to be perfect. This was a great design actually for mass producing. Once I figured out what the heck I was doing, then it just came together. So I would do all the backgrounds at once and then come back and do all the sponging and all the extra stamping, and it came together pretty quickly. I'm going to do the same thing with my early espresso. Just pounce a little bit on, just a little bit, and now I'm going to swipe it across the bottom to hide whatever little bit of blue, that summer splash. Kind of want to hide that. Make a straight edge across. All right. Keep the mask on, keep the early espresso out, and pull your tree in. Okay. And I'm going to stamp. And I should have my mat underneath, so let's do that. It really does make a difference with the photopolymer. Okay, I'm going to stamp one full strength ink right there, and another one here, and a full strength over here. I'm going to move my tree down a bit, stamp it again without re-inking, down a little bit, and I'm going to stamp off and do one up here, and let's do one more right about there. Okay, ready to see? Look at that. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. Now the next thing I'm going to do is pull in this image here for the clouds, and I'm going to emboss that with white. And I'm going to stamp that with white as well. So I'm going to put that right here. I need to re-ink my white ink pad. Look at that, you can hardly see it, but there's enough there to hold my embossing powder as long as I get it on quickly. Okay. And then I'm going to heat this up. Coming together. I stamped so much with my Memento ink the other day that I am just quickly re-inking my ink pad. And now I'm going to bring in the sailboat. Okay, I'm going to ink it really well. Let's see how it looks. Get my handy dandy thing in here. And I'm going to stamp this right here. I'm going to hold it down for a minute just so that ink really gets into the paper. Perfect. Perfect. I'm going to do the same thing with the dolphins. Oh my goodness, I love this stamp set so much. I'm going to stamp them right here. And then I'm going to stamp my little dolphin right about here. And I'm going to turn this dolphin a little bit of a different angle, just like so. Now I'm going to tear this bottom portion towards me because I wanted to kind of create a look of the water waves cresting onto the beach, onto the sand. And then what I did is somewhere, here we go, I have a piece of crumb cake and I cut this down to measure 5.5. Let's see, sorry, 4.25 by 1.5. I'm going to take my glue and put a little bit across the top. Okay, and then you just glue this right onto your crumb cake. And you can just go ahead and stick that onto a card, trim it up so it's 4 by 5.25. But like I said earlier, I'm going to cut this with my deckled rectangle dies. And this die that I used is approximately 3, not quite 3.5 by just past 4.5. Okay. And then I'm just, let me move this so you can see. When I have this on my die cutting machine, all I did is I lined this up to get it more or less where I wanted. And I want to make sure I get most of those clouds in there. Make sure this is straight with the lines and run it through my machine. So that gives it a really nice finished edge. Really, really cool little bit. And of course, you can save this and use that for a card. And then for the next step, what I did is I used my perennial postage dies. And I used this one here and cut it with my basic white. And I also took a smaller rectangle deckled die and cut out, put that down. So when I ran this through, I had my postage die and then my rectangle die and ran it through the two dies at once. That way I can save this cardstock and use this for another card because this is going to be hidden behind this, right? I know a lot of you who watch my videos have seen me do this before. I don't do it like every single time, but I do it a lot because it stretches out my cardstock. And why not? Why not? If we can stretch out our cardstock, let's do it. Okay, so then I have a piece of Shy Shamrock cardstock. I cut it at 11 by 4.25. And I'm just going to assemble these. A little bit of glue around my frame. so. Oh, and I forgot to stamp my birds. You know me, I gotta have my birds. And y'all also know how much I love this image from the Beside Me stamp. I love this whole stamp set, but I use this image a ton. Ink my birds right about here. Now for the sentiment, I was kind of like, man, I don't know what to do here. And I had my monthly Serene Stampers meeting earlier this week with members of my Serene Stampers team. And I asked the girls, I'm like, I'm not sure what to do. What do you guys think? Give me your ideas. And I didn't even have any of this die cut yet. I just had the panels all stamped with the picture. And we came up with some different ideas. And what we all kind of settled on was using the alphabet dies to have Mexico and then 2024. I love that idea. But when I went to go do it, I'm like, man, this is going to take up too much real estate on the card and hide too much. So what I did instead is I took Fairy Vanilla cardstock, put it in my printer, and in a document, I just typed Mexico 2024 on one, like a column on one side, a column on the other side, using a cute font, which I think was Boring Showers. And then I just cut them out with my happy little label dies. No, happy little things. To me, they're happy little labels. They do make me happy. And I use this one that just kind of looks like tape, right? So that's all I did. And then look at, I got the cutest little label, which, you know, this is a great way to add your journaling. I'm sure a lot of you who do journaling and scrapbooking already use your printers. So that's what I did for my card. Now, this was a little bit too plain Jane for me. I wanted to jazz this up a little bit without making it overwhelming. So I grabbed a stamp set, which was Sending Love, because this is being carried over in our new catalog, but not as a bundle. And I didn't have this bundle, and I've received wonderful cards from friends using this. And every time I see their cards or samples online, I'm like, man, I really, really like this. So I thought I better get my butt in motion and get this while you can still get it as a bundle and save 10%. And demonstrators with we start off at 20% discount, which means I save 30%. So I wanted to get it before our current catalog ends. So I did, and I just got it the other day with the dies, and I'm very excited. Anyways, I used this stamp. This one right here. Just add a little something something, and I pulled in my smoky slate. See? It's not much, guys, but it's something. And those little somethings make a big difference, I'm telling you. They really do. And then I cut up some of my adhesive strips, and I put it on the back. And then I just tucked it on like so. And then the last thing I did is I took some Wink of Stella and I just added a little bit along here. And that, my friend, is how I made my swaps for our Mexico trip with Stampin' Up. And I really, really like how it came out. I hope you enjoyed today's video. These in colors, again, are available coming up May 1st. I love how that torn paper along the bottom with that crumb cake looks. Like, that's cool. That is cool, I think. Friends, something I want to make sure you're aware of is starting on May 1st, Stampin' Up! Is having an amazing promotion with our starter kits. And that promotion is, with our starter kits, you will receive automatically all the new in color ink pads that I'm showing you here, all the 5 markers that are part of this new in color collection, the assorted cardstock, and the assorted 6x6 2024-2026 in color designer series paper for free. In Canada, that's like $112 approximately for free, on top of the awesome starter kit that we have. So in Canada, when you get the starter kit, you pick $165, whatever you want, but you only pay $135. The shipping is free. Plus, like I said, during the month of May, you get all of the in color products that I just mentioned, and you can make this card. And yeah, it's a pretty smoking good deal. So of course, May 1st is also the launch of our new annual catalog with all the amazing new stamp sets and dies and punches and embellishments and accessories. So you can take a whole lot of stuff off your wish list, get it in your starter kit, and get your 2024-2026 bonus for free. Seriously, awesome. I've been with Stampin' Up 22 years this month, and in all my years, I think this is one of the most generous starter kit promotions I've ever seen. So take advantage of that if you want. And if you're in Canada and if you don't already have a demonstrator, I would love to welcome you into my Serene Stampers community. We are all across the country, and I love my Serene Stampers so much. We have a lot of fun. So I have a lot of information on my page. If you're interested, just click on the link to my website down below. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me too. I'd be happy to help you. So with that said, my friends, I hope you enjoyed today's card demonstration. Very, very fun. Take care. I appreciate you, and happy stamping.